Joining us now on the line is Joe DiGenova, our legal analyst. He has also been very active in some of the in representing some of the whistleblowers from Benghazi. Chief among them is a guy named Gregory Hicks, who is the deputy chief of mission in Benghazi almost 1 year ago when the attacks began. Joe, he was on ABC this weekend, and he said the following. He said he's being punished.
Do you feel you're being punished for speaking out?
Yes, I feel that I have been punished. I don't know why I was punished. I don't know why I was put in a closet, if you will.
Does the State Department know you're speaking out now?
No, they don't know I'm here with you.
Then why talk?
Because the American people need to have the story. And Ambassador Chris Stevens, Sean Smith, Ty Woods, and Glenn Doherty's names are names that should be remembered by every American.
There you go, Joe. Are there new developments in this story?
The ghost of Benghazi haunts the President of the United States. The wall of lies that the administration put out within 24 hours of the terrorist attack on the consulate and the annex haunts the President now on Syria. He has no credibility. His ability to convince is tattered and in shreds. And what's very interesting is we have an opportunity for people like Greg Hicks, who is a great American. Greg Hicks, a diplomat who is so ballsy and smart and loyal to his country, who was abandoned by this administration and retaliated against. The Republicans in the House and Senate have an opportunity. Victoria Nuland, as you know, who was part of the Wall of Lies,
right,
and conspired with others to put out false information to the American people. Her nomination is pending in the United States Senate to be an Assistant Secretary of State. If she is confirmed without Greg Hicks getting a new assignment, the Republicans are not fit to govern. She is leverage to help people like Greg Hicks and all of the other CIA people and former CIA people and special ops people who want to tell their story and who have been suppressed by this administration. It is remarkable that in 2 days, it will be 365 days since the attack in Benghazi, and we still do not know what the President of the United States did hour by hour that night. This is why he will lose Syria. He has created a wall of lies. The trust deficit of this president is monumental.
Well,
the test is Victoria Nuland. If she is confirmed, the Republicans are not fit to govern.
I do think you're right about that to some degree, the president's difficulty in getting Congress to back him on Syria has to do with a level of distrust on things like Benghazi, like the IRS. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. They don't feel like they've been dealt with straightforwardly by the administration, and so a lot of people are sort of unwilling to take the president at his word now. So the bottom line is, do you expect that today, when the president is going to be interviewed by every major network, that someone will ask about this?
I have no idea. I have the mainstream media. I give ABC a lot of credit, and George Stephanopoulos. It was a phenomenal interview. Victoria Tunsing, my wife-in-law partner, was able to arrange that interview with Greg's keen interest with ABC, and Stephanopoulos did a great interview. Whether or not the other mainstream medias will pick up the cudgel and do what they should have done a year ago. Can you imagine interviewing the President of the United States and not asking him what he was doing that night and why the administration has refused to release an hour-by-hour chronology? This is mind-boggling. If this were a Republican president, Henry Waxman, Carl Levin, all of these clowns who love to be partisan would be pounding on the table, wanting transparency and wanting to know where the president was and what was he doing. Now there's utter silence, absolute and utter silence. We shall see whether or not the mainstream media is still in love.
You know, you're right. We don't know what he was doing that night. We do know what he did the next morning.
Yeah,
he got on a plane, he went to Las Vegas and did a fundraising.
He went to a fundraiser. He was so stricken with grief over the loss of his ambassador and 3 other great Americans that he went to a fundraiser. Let me tell you something. This is Chicago politics at its worst. This is totally expectable. And guess what? He voted present all those times. And what does the new senator from Massachusetts do, Markey?
Markey, yeah.
On the big vote on...
he pulled an Obama.
He voted present
Yeah.
in committee on the Syria resolution. Can you believe this stuff? You couldn't make this up.
Well, and Joe DiGenova, it would be absolutely appropriate for journalists to raise this question in the context of Syria now, because Libya is in utter chaos right now. Much of it starting a year ago with the attack on our embassy. But we intervened gently with the Libyan situation, and it was a civil war at that time, very analogous to what's going on in Syria right
Absolutely.
now.
And here's what they should ask him in addition to, Mr. President, what will be Greg Hicks' next assignment? And what were you doing that night? And the next question should be, Mr. President, did you sign a presidential covert action finding authorizing the transfer of weapons from Libya to other places in the Middle East? Mr. President, did you sign a presidential finding authorizing the transfer of weapons from Libya to elsewhere in the Middle East? Let's see if they ask that question.
Hold on, Joe DiGenova, I was going to pivot to Syria for a second, but it sounds like by posing that question, you're suggesting that you have some information that it may be so.
I'm suggesting that the circumstances of everything surrounding Benghazi and the silence and the incredible level of inaction, the lack of the cavalry coming to the rescue, suggest a level of presidential involvement and consequence that question is absolutely essential. As a student of government and someone who has worked in all three branches of government, let me tell you something. With what NSA is doing under the authority of specific orders signed by the President of the United States, the question has to be asked, what presidential orders were issued in Benghazi? What was going on at the annex? What did the President know about it?
Quickly, Joe DiGenova, I do need to get you on the record on Syria. Many believe that the president could have already acted unilaterally with Syria, but he chose not to. He decided to get congressional approval. If Congress says no, and the president goes ahead with a military strike after he actually got rejected by Congress, are there legal ramifications to that?
There will be political ramifications. If he acts after losing a vote, resolutions of impeachment will be filed in the House.
All right.
Wow.
Joe DiGenova on the record. All right. It's thank you, Joe. As always. Oh, by the way, Redskins. Let's get you on the record on this. Redskins by how many tonight?
I don't know. Who knows? I hope they win. They're nice guys.
All right, Joe. Thanks for that.
Note to self: don't ask Joe about
football.